So, if you would introduce yourself.
All right, I'm Eric Kaplan, and I happen to be the president of Omaha Maker Group.
All right, and what's your passion?
Wow, I just like creativity. I'm an engineer by trade, by education, and I love creating new things or figuring out some novel way to make something or fix something or solve a problem.
And so what kind of things have you made, or if you have any examples, we can grab some B-roll.
Yeah, definitely. I tend to kind of focus in on 3D printing, and I spent about half of my career doing 3D part design for product development, so I've got the 3D engineering software background pretty well nailed down, and the laser cutter. I tend to be the guy that does the stuff out of plastic or PVC pipe or kinds of models like that, and the Tinker toys, the adult Tinker toy PVC pipe, and and just all kinds of sheet plastic and vinyl graphics and that kind of thing.
So where did you learn to do some of this? So is this just something you always knew?
Yeah, I don't know that I didn't do any formal training. I have a degree in mechanical engineering, and none of it was at all related to the tinkering, hacker, maker stuff. A lot of it was just having a natural curiosity, and having slot car track at home and thinking, wow, this dump truck goes a whole lot faster than this little car. It's got a bigger motor. Let me take the motor out of the dump truck and put it in the car and see how fast the car will go. Or this clock stopped working. I wonder what's wrong with it. Let me take it apart and see if I can figure it out and put it back together. Although my parents were never, they're not really mechanically inclined themselves. They have always encouraged it. They never discouraged me for taking things apart and putting things together, and grew up with Legos and erector sets and things like that.
So along the lines of things that helped you figure out, what kinds of things can you recommend, like resources, information, or tips can you offer any young person looking to do some of the things that you do?
Well, definitely the internet. The website Instructables, and there's a lot of other websites out there. Make Magazine has a great website. Just following along tech blogs and gadget blogs and how-to blogs, and going on Instructables and seeing what the featured projects are, just following along, and then going to a local makerspace and just watching and observing and helping other people with their projects and asking questions while you're helping them.
All right, so who belongs at a makerspace? Who is a maker? Where do they fit into all this?
So I actually give a presentation locally a couple times a year about the makerspace and Omaha Maker Group, and I actually will define that and say that there's that a maker is your garage mechanic, your shade tree mechanic, your person that creates stuff at home, but becomes engaged with other people and collaborates with other people and shares their ideas, and so I call a maker kind of the social tinkerer, because if you're just working on something in your garage, you're certainly creating and you're tinkering, but I think what really takes you to that level of being a maker is when you go from DIY, do it yourself, to DIT, do it together. I think when you collaborate and when you have that social element, that's when you really start to take it to the next level of being a maker.
So what kinds of things do makers make? Are programs on computers, paintings, food?
Yeah, if it can be created, makers make it. People tend to think of maker spaces and makers as, computers, electronics, robotics, programming. Art is just that's what makers are. Artists, making something out of clay, or taking pieces of wire and bending them into mobiles and sculpture. That's the maker process. Certainly, the robotics, but figuring out, costuming and sewing and making your own leather bags, or making your own little toolkits. That's all maker stuff. I think it's more of the mindset of creating something in a collaborative environment, and less about the actual product and output.
And the last question on that list is, do makerspaces have things to offer the communities to which they belong? And if so, what do they offer?
I think they absolutely do, and I think it's in different levels. You know, they offer a technical resource. So, you know, if somebody is interested in trying something like 3D printing, you know, the makerspace can be an environment where you can sort of safely learn what 3D printing is all about. Either you never go and invest in your own printer, or before you buy your own printer, you kind of experiment someplace else. It's most certainly just that creative community of people. So if you're inclined towards wanting to create something and you don't have your own shop to do it in, you go to the makerspace and you have the resources of the makerspace, the physical resources, but you've more than that. You've got the mental community, you've got the social element, you've got people who know a lot more about something than you do that will help you with your project, and conversely give you an opportunity to share what you know to help them with their projects.
All right, and is there anything about your personal creating that you would offer that I haven't asked about? Or?
I've been out in the professional world for a number of years, and about half of my career has been in product development, and about half of it's been in construction management. I'm actually doing construction management now, and it's kind of my second go-around of doing that. I left construction management the first time because I was really, I was missing the creative feedback and the reward you get from seeing something that you've created on paper or on a screen come to life. About 4 years ago is when I decided that I wanted to leave my product development job and go back into the construction industry, and I was really worried that I was going to miss that creative element that I had gotten so accustomed to. The difference between the first time around and now is that I didn't have a makerspace the first time around where I would have an outlet for that creative space, and I don't miss that world one bit. The opportunity to come in here and design something for myself, or to work with a team of amazing friends, not just not coworkers, but friends, to create something, to build something as a team is really satisfying.